now with the one, the only, Kane. Good morning. How's it going?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. It feels a little weird to talk to you because you seem, every time I picture you in my mind, you're very creepy. And so to just speak to you as if you're just a normal human being is a little weird. Is that weird that I just assume that you're a creepy guy?
Yes, it is.
Okay, just wanted to make sure that we were on the same page there.
It's the same, I guess, if you were talking to some model or, really hot girl, you would think that they would be whatever they are, and hopefully you fantasize about them more than you do me, but,
Yeah, I do a little of both. I'm kind of odd like that. Well, let's talk a little bit before we get into all the craziness here. See No Evil 2. It's on DVD and Blu-ray now, plus you can download it, digital HD, iTunes, on all your gaming systems, all that. Tell people a little bit about the film, maybe See No Evil 1 if they missed it, what they should check out, kind of what the whole franchise is about, and who you play.
Sure, I play a character named Jacob Goodnight, and he's, a very large psychopathic serial killer. Doesn't have much remorse or regard for human life. You don't actually have to see No Evil to watch See No Evil 2. It's not one of those deals where, it's a sequel in that you won't understand what's going on in the second movie. You don't see the first movie. Jacob has a very contentious relationship with his mother. In fact, she, in the original See No Evil movie, she was really the bad guy. Jacob was more of her tool. She had a very demented, perverted view of religion and social norms. So, she meets her demise in the first movie, but she still exerts a lot of influence on him in the second movie. See No Evil 2 takes place the same night as See No Evil. It's right afterwards, and the directors of the movie, the Soska sisters, they called it a self-aware tribute to 80s slashers, and that's what it is. It's funny because we have, there's some cliches in the movie, but the cliches are there on purpose, and the cliches are there to pay tribute to the 80s type stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of the campy style. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So it's a lot of fun, and if you're into that sort of movie, I think you really enjoy it.
Definitely check it out. I love that. Are you with the acting now? Are you going to go full-on acting, or are you going to try to pull kind of a rock sort of situation? And if you do, will you remain Kane, or will you try to do what The Rock's doing and be known as your other name?
I don't know. I mean, of course, that's I'm not going to compare myself to The Rock, because he's just had so much success in Hollywood. He's one of the biggest stars in the world. WWE is my home, and it's what I do, and it's what I enjoy. If more acting opportunities present themselves, I'd certainly like to pursue it, but I can't say whether that's going to be something the future holds or not. I just don't know at this point.
So just too early to tell. Well, speaking of WWE, like you said, that's home right now. I've got one of my producer here is the most diehard WWE fan. He's been watching it for 30 years. He knows everything here. So he's got some rapid-fire questions we got to ask you here. Favorite rival through your whole career? Who was that? Undertaker, favorite rival. Is there a chance of you and The Undertaker ever getting back together for a Brothers of Destruction reunion?
I will have to see. We had a one-night reunion in St. Louis, Missouri at the 1000th episode of Raw. So, something could take place in the future. Who knows? Okay,
very nice. What about a favorite match ever?
It's when I won the World Championship from Stone Cold Steve Austin at King of the Ring in Pittsburgh in 1998, I believe.
Oh, very nice. What about dream opponent? Somebody that you have not taken on, dead or alive, but somebody that you just think, that would be such a fun match?
Andre the Giant.
I like that. That would be awesome. That's a pretty good answer there. If you could pick your final match with WWE, if Vince is like, hey, you know what? It's you're going out. This is your end here. You won the last match. It's your call. What would that match be? Who would it be against?
It would actually be a tag team match. It would be the Brothers of Destruction. It would be at WrestleMania, of course, but it would be the Brothers of Destruction against Degeneration X.
That would be fun. That would be fun, too. And another question is, after you retire at some point, obviously you made it sound like no retirement is not in your near future here. If you do, would you stick around with WWE and try to do like the agent route, or hang out kind of on the sidelines there and help other wrestlers?
Yeah, I don't know. Again, it just sort of depends on what the future holds. WWE has been great to me. I mean, it really has, far beyond my wildest expectations or dreams. I'd like to be involved in the future. I just don't know what capacity.
Are you? This is a good question too. Are you a little upset that you're not on? I mean, you've been doing a lot. You've been active recently. You're not on the card for this Sunday's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Is that upsetting to you?
Yeah, a little bit, of course, because you always want to be there. But what's happened is we've just some of the injuries that we've had have. That sort of ripples down through the roster, and in my case, that's sort of what happened. It wasn't, me that got injured, but some of the other guys had an impact on what I was doing.
That's odd. Well, yeah, and I guess that makes sense how that would work. And you've been wrestling for 20 years, consistently. You don't take breaks. You're not, it's not like a few years off. What do you think of the kind of part-time, cameo wrestlers like The Rock has become now, or like a Brock Lesnar that, shows up and does his thing for a little bit, then leaves and comes back and does a little bit more here and there?
Well, it just depends on. For me, if it's effective, if those guys draw, that's really what's important, and if they're doing that, then, who cares in what capacity, they're in, it doesn't, that's one of those deals that, doesn't really matter. Like I said, what matters, the bottom line is, whether they create excitement and are able to draw people into the arenas when they're there.
There you go. And obviously in the past 20 years, I mean, in your whole career with WWE, things have really changed and evolved over time. Are you happy with the changes? Like, I mean, it used to be a lot more bloody, a lot more intense. It's kind of become a lot more family-friendly now. Do you think that it's moving in the right direction? Are you kind of a little sad the way that it's moved? What do you think the future holds? What do you think the evolution of WWE is looking like?
I don't know. Because it really is the marketplace that decides. It's where we think we're going to have the most success. Certainly, I always have mixed feelings because you have the nostalgia for things that, for the Attitude Era or things like as they were when I was a kid. And yeah, they're not that way necessarily anymore. And in some ways, I think that's a good thing. In some ways, of course, you miss it too. But you always miss the good old days, even if the good old days weren't necessarily that great. But what I think's great about WWE right now is the fact that it is a family show.
So you do like that family aspect? I mean, because especially as Kane, it seems like that might.
I do because we see things like going to the arena and you see a father taking his 5-year-old son to the show. And they're going to spend quality time together. Some of the things that WWE we've always done, but now people are starting to realize all the charitable efforts that we do, and some of that stuff, with not only with the breast cancer awareness, but just like with the Make-A-Wish program and that sort of thing, and I'm very proud of that. So, who knows if we would be able to do those things, if we weren't as family friendly as we are now. So, on balance, again, you always miss the good old days. I think the direction that we've taken is a good direction.
That's awesome. I like that. One last question here. My producer wants me to ask you here. When Paul Bearer passed away, was that hard for you? I mean, you guys were obviously very close on screen, but were you guys close personal friends off screen as well?
Yes. Yes, we were. And, that was difficult, because it was unexpected. I mean, Paul hadn't been in the best of health, but I certainly didn't expect that. And, their family's been through a lot over the past 2 years, actually. They've had quite a few tragedies. And, I'm sort of close with the whole family. So, it's very unfortunate that not only only Paul's passing, but some of the other things that have happened with the Moody family.
Yeah, that is rough. I can understand that. Well, Kane, it's so good talking to you, Kane. Somebody just said, what I love about Kane is he makes WWE sound like such a family, and that he's out for the greater good. Somebody else said, I love Kane. So people, and then somebody else wants to get choke slammed by you if you're ever in our area. So a lot of Kane fans here, man. So congratulations on what you've done with your career. Check out See No Evil 2. It's out on DVD and Blu-ray now, and keep watching WWE to see more of Kane. You've been a pleasure to talk to this morning, so thank you so much for taking the time for us here.
I have a question. Do you still think I'm really creepy?
At this point, you seem like a really normal dude that would not try to kill me in my sleep and bury me in your basement. Not anymore. You've changed.
Well, we'll address that at TV, okay? When I get back on TV, I'll become even more creepy. How's that?
Perfect. Sounds like a deal. Kane, thank you so much for the time. You have a great weekend, and keep up the great work, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
The Big J Show. Weekday mornings from 6 till 10 on Billings' #1 hit music station, Hot 101.9.